welcome back to another seller interview. We have Kristen Pope with us from Texas today, and she is going to talk about her eBay journey. She is a relatively newer seller, but we're going to talk about what she's been able to do in about 2 years and give you lots of details because she's an analytical numbers person, which I love. So she's kept track of a lot of things. So say hi, Kristen.
Hello.
Okay, great. So tell us about where you live, like where in Texas are you?
I'm in the Austin, Texas area.
So lots of good thrifting there.
There really is. It's a growing city, and I think there's a lot of people who have a lot of money and like to go through their clothes really fast. You can find some really good stuff in the thrift stores here.
Yes, that's what I've heard. So very affluent area, great for picking.
Mm-hmm.
And your eBay store name is Thrifty Chrissy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want to go check out her store, there's a link below the video. You can go look at what she sells and how she does things. I've got my notes here, so that's what I'm looking at. Tell us about your family.
I have a husband and 2 little girls, ages 8 and 5. They keep me really busy. My 5-year-old just started kindergarten though, so we're kind of on a new phase of parenthood, which I'm excited about.
Were you one of those moms at the bus stop crying because your youngest is now in kindergarten, or were you like, yay, I have more time?
I think I was kind of both, although the more time kind of outweighed the crying part. It was like a mix, such a mix of emotions on that first day of kindergarten.
Yeah, it is, because your youngest is gone, but it's time. You know, it's like, yeah, they need to be doing that and moving on, going to school or whatever. So I'm glad you're dealing with it well, because it can be traumatic. So let's talk about your eBay history. How long have you been selling?
I have been selling for almost exactly 2 years. I started in the summer 2 years ago.
And what brought you to start selling on a regular basis?
So when we had kids, we decided that we wanted me to be a stay-at-home mom, and we had budgeted everything to live off my husband's income. But then as my kids started getting older, they started getting involved in more and more things, and their expenses just kept going up and up. And I really wanted to find a way to bring in some more money without having to get like a quote unquote normal job. And I tried out some network marketing, but it just really wasn't my thing. And I was at the pool one day, and this other woman, another eBay seller, told me about how she listed like 4 items a day and she was making like $1,000 a month. And I was just like, what? I want to do that. Like, show me how to do that. And she really helped me get started learning how to do that. And I just could see the potential that this would actually work. And I was really excited about it.
What, do you mind saying what network marketing you tried? Because I think all of us that have come to eBay have done that. And I mean, you've really you gotta be cut out for that. And you've got to have a lot of friends that you can hit up to buy stuff.
Yeah, and it was a company called Advocare. They sell supplements. And okay. I really am into taking supplements, and I like some of their stuff, but the whole like trying to sell to people, I just did not like it. It was not for me.
Well, I did it too. Back when I started eBay, I was at about your stage of life with my kids were 6 and 8, and they were in school all day, and I was doing eBay to keep the bills paid, but it was like still with the network marketing and the home parties and all that, it cuts into your nights, because you got to do it when people are home. Mm-hmm. So that's not a great answer if you're a stay-at-home mom, even though it is flexible, but you can't do it at home with your kids home at night like you can do eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about what kind of things you sell and where you get them.
I sell almost all women's clothing, and I usually go to thrift stores. Once in a while, I'll hit up a consignment store when they're having like 70% off or 90% off. And I like to go to Salvation Army when they have half off day. And then also the Goodwill bins. The bins in Austin are actually sometimes they're like full of junk, but a lot of the time there's actually, I can find some pretty good stuff in there. So I like to mix it up just depending on what mood I'm in and what day I can actually go out and go sourcing.
So you have more flexibility now with both of them in school.
I do, but they've been in school for about 2 weeks, so I'm still trying to figure out what my new routine is going to be. Before it was like very like regimented when I could go and everything. So yeah, I'm hoping I can check out even maybe some new places too.
Great. Yeah, you're very organized. You'll get organized fast. So you sell mostly clothing, is that right? Okay. But are you open to selling anything if you see it?
Yes, I mean, I'm still learning. I'm still intimidated by breakables. I actually watched one of your videos the other day about shipping breakables, and I was like, thank you, because it made it less intimidating. But so I will sometimes, if I've found a couple things here and there that were non-clothing items that I've sold, or even like things around our house. Like we got a new refrigerator about 1.5 years ago, and normally we would have just donated the water filters. And I was like, let me see what I can sell these on eBay for. And I think I sold them for like $50 in like 5 hours. How did I wish I had known about eBay like way before this. This is awesome.
Did you post that on Money Making Mondays or something? Or
I don't know. I don't think I did.
Had a similar story, because I've seen that where people say, oh, my microwave died and I sold the tray, or my coffee maker died and I took it apart and sold these parts of it. So that's a very common thing. So that was good thinking on your part. And how many listings you have now?
I have right now, I think I have like 365. I usually hover anywhere between 300 and 350 depending on the season. So right now it's kind of slow, so I'm kind of building items right now.
And on average, you said you pay about $3 for an item?
Yeah, that would be my best guess, because if I go to the bins, it's like less than $1, but I'll pay a little bit more if I go to a regular thrift store.
Right. Okay. So your average profit is about $10 per item, which is very good.
Yeah, and it took me a while to get there. My first year, I think my average profit was $5 an item. And I'm hoping that's like my main goal right now, is just to work on getting that profit per item up so I can make more money in the same amount of time.
Exactly. So that brings us to your professional background. You are
I worked as a civil and environmental engineer. I did that for about 8 years before having my oldest daughter. And then I decided I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And I always thought that maybe I would eventually go back to work when she was older. But now that I see kind of what our lifestyle is like, I kind of would prefer to keep doing eBay. It's more fun and it's just so much more flexible. If there's a day when my kid is sick, I don't have to worry about taking time off. And if we go on vacation, I don't have to worry about that. It's much less stressful.
What does a environmental civil engineer do?
Well, we do all kinds of different things. My husband is actually one as well. We met in grad school, and he actually treats drinking water. So he'll help take the water out of the river or the ground and make it clean for people to drink. When I worked, I actually designed the pipes that brought the water from like the treatment plant to your house, and the pipes that brought the poop and from the toilet to the wastewater treatment plant, which was the most glamorous part of that job. We would actually, like, one time we did a project where we had to like go open these like huge manholes and take like a milk jug and cut the top off and like have a string and drop it down and sample it. Oh God, it was so gross.
So by comparison, like a dirty thrift store is nothing for you.
Yeah, no.
You worked on sewer pipes.
Yes.
Okay, well, because I know that you're very analytical and you keep your numbers and you like to do math. as far as when you see my videos that talk about math, you're like, yay, we can do math. And that's really important in order to grow your business, because you have to know where you are in order to figure out where you want to go. And you've got to do the math to figure it out. So you said you're profiting about $1,000 a month now?
It goes anywhere from 500 to 1,000. It depends on the month. So right now I'm on the lower end. I did a quick calculation, and this year I've averaged 700 a month since January. But like, actually my busy season is like January through April. And I'll sell closer to $1,000 a month during those months. But then in the summer, it drops down to around 500.
And you'll get there as you continue to refine what you're buying. You've been in this for 2 years, and I'm sure you've gone through phases where you just didn't know something, and now you look at your inventory and you're like, yeah, I wouldn't buy that again. So are you finding that you just keep refining the more you do it?
Absolutely. There's a ton of stuff I have in my store that, I keep it up there because I took the time to photograph it and list it. But if I were at the thrift store today, I would not get it. And I think that is something that just will come more and more and more with experience. And I think that is what is ultimately going to help me get that profit per item up, is really learning and refining what I'm picking up at the stores.
So you've got about 350 items listed. You're a busy mom at home with your girls and your husband and your house and having a life. And so about how many things do you get listed a week?
I have a goal of 3 items a day. So that's 21 listings a week. When I started out, I was doing more, but I cut back a little bit just because it was causing me too much stress just to hit that goal all the time. Now that both my kids are in school, I'm curious to see if I'm able to do a little bit more. But right now I just do the 21 a week.
And that's great that you have a goal. Do you actually do 3 every day, or do you just have keep track of, okay, I've done 21 now?
I try to list at least 1 a day, and total at the end of the week have 21 listings.
Okay, right, because eBay does say that 1 listing a day is considered activity, and that's what the search engine likes, is active stores. So a sales is an activity, but we can't control that. But you're sticking with the 1 listing a day just to keep that moving. Yes. That's great. Okay, so we have talked about your stats. So you said you have about $8,000 worth of product listed right now, meaning if everything's sold, that's what you would make.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have goals as far as what kind of profit you're trying to get to, or how big you want to make your store?
Right now, I would really like to profit $1,000 a month. That was my goal when I started out, and so that's still my goal. So I'm hoping to get there. I'm getting close, because I do have those months where I do hit 1,000. I'm just hoping to maybe make up for it a little more when things are a little bit slower. And when I started, my goal was I was like, okay, I did the math in my head. I'm like, if I could list 4 items a day and have $8 profit per item and have like 400 items in my store and a 1% sell-through rate, I could make $1,000 a month. But now I'm realizing that especially with the sell-through rate, trying to think, I'm sorry, I'm kind of stuck on what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't have any control over that. And I have actually been rejecting more and more offers more recently, because I want to just get more money out of items so I can, again, increase that profit per hour. And so my sell-through rate has gone down a little bit, but I'm also getting more money for things because I am like countering offers. I used to be scared to counter offers and would just be like, oh, I'll just take it. I want to sell it. But people accept them at, I would say 50% of the time. So it's really been helping. And I think the confidence is one of those things that comes with more and more experience.
Right. That's what I was going to say, is that you're getting more confidence because you've sold that item for X amount of dollars before, and you can get it again. It's just you know, how much in a hurry are you, or do you want to wait? And, you know, since your husband's employed, you have that other income, you kind of have the luxury of saying, I can wait for more money. You know, I'm not desperate to, you know, sell everything I have as fast as I can, which, you know, everybody's situation is different. So, but it's good that you see that it takes time, and, you know, you can just wait it out, wait for that higher price person to come along. And they do. So we kind of talked about your goals here. Now, has your eBay money done anything special for your family? Paid for any special things that you would have had otherwise?
Well, it has paid for some of their activities. Like I had mentioned, my girls are really into swimming and gymnastics and dance. And it's important, especially because one of my daughters has a problem with like muscle tone, which is a strength issue. And it's basically, I could have her go to physical therapy or I could have her in gymnastics. And so we'd rather do gymnastics. So it's been nice to be able to pay for that. And I'm saving for us to take like a big trip to Disney World in about a year, which I'm very excited about.
That's a great goal. Yeah, that's something the whole family can enjoy and never forget. So good for you. Now, let's see. We talked about your sourcing. Now, one thing special about Kristen is that she is one of my VAs. She's a virtual assistant and has been working with my team for probably 6 months or more.
Yeah.
Okay. And 7 months. Okay. So I wanted to get you on also to talk about how you like being a virtual assistant, and you know, just a little bit about that experience.
I think it's been really great. A bunch of different reasons. I often don't have a lot of time for the sourcing and photographing part of things because I spend so much time hauling my kids around to different things. And in the evenings after they go to bed, I just don't want to like turn on those bright lights and be photographing. But I have more time for listing. And so when you contacted me about being a VA, I was like, this is perfect because listing is actually what I have the most time for. So I can do that like after the kids go to bed. My husband and I will both kind of be on the couch working together with like a TV show on in the background or something. So we're still kind of hanging out. And then anytime they're at my kids are at their activities, I'll work, or even like at a doctor's appointment, I'll get my laptop out and work. And then I've learned a lot from my clients of things to sell. Like today, for example, there was a purse that I never would have picked up, and one of my clients had a bunch of them that she listed, and I was like, oh, let me try this. And I bought a purse for like $3 and sold it for $20 today. And so it's been helpful for my own store for that. And it's also made me a faster lister for my own store. And honestly, it's kept me so busy sometimes that it takes away the stress of my own store, because I'm so busy that I'm not stuck in like, why isn't anything selling, and worrying about stuff. And like, I had 1 month where all I could do was hit sell similar when my stuff ended, and do my like 3 listings a day, and things that I had listed for like a year and a half were selling. And I'm like, wow, you really just do have to wait. And, you know, so there's been a lot of benefits. And of course I like having like actual contact with other people who are involved in eBay. That part is really nice as well.
Well, and your clients compliment you so much on the listings, the attention to detail, because you like write great titles that, you know, have really good keywords that come up in search, and, you know, maybe the client doesn't know as much as you do, so you've got keywords and that helps sell their items. But you know, all of your clients just talk about how fast you are, how meticulous you are, the attention to detail, and you price things higher than they would have, because I don't know if you're just more familiar than they are, or you do the research. But I think as sellers, sometimes it's beneficial to have another person do the listings, because they're going to do them differently. You're going to learn from them, and pricing, a lot of people just are not confident in pricing. They're like, well, I can't ask that much for it. Well, if you have best offer on it, why not?
Mm-hmm.
You don't ask, you don't get. So now you mentioned something about being able to do breathing treatments when you're doing your listings.
Yes, I have cystic fibrosis, and I don't think I told you that. It's a lung disease. Luckily, my case is very mild, but this is another reason that all of this eBay and being a VA is so great. It's really time consuming, and I have to spend a lot of time doing breathing treatments. And so I will work on my VA listings while I'm doing my breathing treatments. And if I had a normal job, that would be harder because you're supposed to work like while you're in the office versus while you're sitting on the couch at 7:30 in the morning and 6:30 at night. So yeah, it's been great for that as well.
Did that interfere with your other job when you decided to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom? Was that part of the decision because of your health issue?
Well, I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom regardless, but it definitely was part of the reason I felt like I couldn't go back to work when they were both in school, because it is like cystic fibrosis is like a part-time job in itself, because you have to spend so much time not only doing the breathing treatments, I have to make sure I exercise like 5 days a week, and then just like dealing with insurance companies and the doctor's appointments and making sure I get enough sleep. It would be really, really hard to do all that and then work 20 hours a week and then spend time with my family.
Oh, I can imagine. It's, just any type of health issue like that is, like you said, a part-time job, because it's just taking care of yourself and then the doctor stuff and fighting insurance companies. So as a VA, you basically earn money. It's not exactly hourly, it's by the piece, but so it's a good supplement to your own business, because you're not worried that things aren't selling, money's not coming in, because you can do this on the side along with your eBay business to make money sort of by the hour. It's however much time you want to put in, pretty much. Yeah. And you're fast. So I'm so glad that worked out. I didn't realize it was that much of a thing. You just mentioned breathing treatments one time, and I thought, well, that's good. This is working out for her.
Yeah. And another reason, I don't think I ever told you this, but my sister had a baby and she lives in Maine, and I went up there for like 5 days and I just did all my VA work while I was like helping her in between holding the baby. I don't think I would have, you can't like do that with like a regular job. Just like be like, oh, I'm going to go on vacation for 5 days and work while I'm there.
No, that's great. And selling on eBay is a skill. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody wants to do it. People are overwhelmed by it. And if you can find more ways to make money with what you know and be able to live the life you want on your schedule with your family and doing things you want to do, I mean, it's just a win all the way around, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, speaking up to the VA clients, it's kind of funny because some weeks you'll have so much work, and then the next week it's like, where is everybody? And like every week one person is just overwhelmed with work from their clients, and the other people are kind of like, okay, let's get out of July because nothing's happening here. So I think a couple of times you were the one who was slammed, and you're like, I'm not going to be able to do this in 48 hours. And it's like, that's okay. Just keep working through them. You'll get there.
Yeah. And I'm so type A. I like want to meet that deadline, and I get all stressed out. And so it's nice that you like reaffirm that it's okay if you can't get it done in the 48 hours.
Yeah, and most of the clients don't care. They get it. I mean, it's a service business, and you're going to have busy times and slow times. And as long as their job is submitting the listings, the photos to us and getting in line, and then they just go start working on their next batch. So they're not really obsessing over how fast it's taking. But I'm like you. It's like if I have work waiting, I got to get it done because it drives me crazy to have things piling up and people waiting for me. I don't like that either. So is there anything else you want to share about being an eBay seller? You've been in this for 2 years now, which to a lot of people seems like a long time, but it's really not from an eBay perspective. But you've accomplished a lot in 2 years. What kind of advice would you give to people who are just starting out?
I would say just be patient is my biggest advice, and follow Suzanne. I learned so much from you. When I started out, I was following some other sellers on YouTube, and it actually used to stress me out because I felt like I should be having like a 50% sell-through rate and selling everything really fast. And I've found if you listen to some of the more experienced sellers, things just take time, and it takes a while to build up enough inventory where you're selling every day. And like I said before, I have things that have been in my store for like a year and a half. I had something that I put up in my store like the first month I was selling that I just sold like 3 weeks ago. And I think I lowered the price by like $5 over the course of those 2 years. So that would be my biggest advice. And especially starting out, like I had the luxury that my husband works. So any bit of money that I earned would go right back into my store because I wanted a mannequin and I wanted a printer and I wanted those sticky labels and the envelopes and, like anything that you need just to get your store where you want it to be. There was kind of those startup costs associated with it. And then just buying inventory if you don't have very many items in your store, you're not going to be making a ton of money, but you still want to be buying enough stuff to kind of build it up. So it took me about 6 months before I started actually earning a profit on my items.
Would you say there's a magic number, or was there one for you that when you got to a certain inventory level, you started seeing consistency?
I think it was around 200 listings. I can't be completely sure. I mean, if you don't have to go out and buy all that stuff in the beginning, and if I didn't, I probably would have made money earlier. You know what I'm saying? I started off by just selling my kids' clothes that they outgrew and putting them on like 99-cent auctions just so I could get some feedback. And those sold like the first week. But to where I was selling things every day, I feel like it was more around 200 listings.
Yeah, that's a good ballpark. 200 to 250 is where you're going to see things start to happen. So for newer sellers watching, newer, I mean, short period of time or just not very much inventory and you're trying to make this a business, really just don't even focus on what's selling. Just get 200 items listed. Just make that your mission. Then once you get your things listed, you can start looking at more details. So many people feel like everything has to be perfect before they start. I have to know everything before I can even start. And you'll never start.
Yeah. You learn by doing it. And I even like kind of in my head told myself this first year I am at eBay University and I am learning how to do eBay. So even if I don't make a dime, like going into the second year, eventually I am going to make money doing this. I see other people doing it and I know I can do this, but it takes time.
Right. So it's a patience thing. And I see people on the Facebook group all the time saying, I have 6 items listed and they've been up for 2 weeks. What am I doing wrong? And it's like, nothing. You just have to keep going. And you don't have enough out there to make any kind of decisions about anything. So 200, 250 listings. Keep going with that. Okay. And then one last question is, as far as the VA service, the virtual assistant, for people who are kind of interested in it, but not sure if it's worth the price or don't really know if they want to do that, what is your recommendation as a VA to those folks that are on the fence, might want to try it?
I think it's totally worth trying. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. And the thing that's great about your service is that we all have our own stores as well. And we can, not only can we do your listings for you, we can even like help you improve your listings. It's always good to have another set of eyes look at how you're doing your listings. So, and if you don't like the listing part, that's great too, because then you can just go shopping and take pictures and not have to worry about the listing part. So all of my clients have been really happy with what we do, and they come back for more. So that says a lot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they just rave about you and your precision and your fast. And one requirement when I designed this service was all of the assistants have to be active eBay sellers that have their own active business, because there are other services out there, but hiring somebody in the Philippines for $4 an hour to do this, who has never sold on eBay, doesn't know anything about it, that's just data entry. That's not having an experienced seller help you. And that's what you are, is you're your partner. Because when you see something on their store that, oh, you're not allowed to do that, we got to get that off, or you could do this better and get higher in search, or if you change this a little bit, you might get more sales, that kind of thing. Somebody just doing data entry that has never sold on eBay cannot give that kind of advice. And you do that with people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You used to ask permission if you could tell, can I tell so-and-so that they should really do this, or change the way they're doing their shipping? Is that okay? And I was like, absolutely. That's what they're paying us for, is to help them. So you're just doing a great job. And we had somebody on doing an interview that, was it Linda?
I think.
Yeah, Linda out. Her last name just escapes me. Yeah, Linda Farrell, right. And I've linked to her video above there, that she was just raving about how great you are and how much you've helped her move her business forward. So I think it's just a win for everybody. And I'm so happy that you came on board with us. So any last words?
I don't think so. It's been great working with you. I was so flattered when I got asked to be a VA. I really like the way that you teach people. So that's just a compliment to you. Oh,
well, thank you. Well, I love the way that you work with people and customers, and just your level of professionalism, because you've helped a lot of people sell more, make more money, understand the business better. And I love it when I can find analytical people. I mean, you have a master's degree, don't you?
yes.
So look at what you've done. Do you ever get any flack from people about, you have a master's degree and why are you working at home and selling crap online? Do you ever get that?
No, nobody has ever said that to me, but I definitely, like, people are surprised when I tell them I'm actually making money doing it. That I think they feel like it's not like a real job. But I've never had anybody say, why aren't you working as an engineer? Because yes, I could make more money as an engineer, but they understand my lifestyle and that I don't want to be like a complete basket case all the time. And so people overall have been pretty supportive.
Well, I love that the perception of an eBay seller, the stereotype is going away, because, back in the day and when I started, it was something that you did when you couldn't do anything else. Like, oh, is that all you can do? And now, which is why I do these interviews with people from all walks of life, so many people are leaving a corporate job. They have college degrees, advanced degrees, and they're choosing this because it gives them the life they want. And the opportunity is unlimited. The potential is unlimited. It's you're a mom right now, and you can't go back and do that over again. And that's what you're focusing on. And eBay's running in the background, and it'll be there when they hit middle school and they don't want anything to do with you. It happens. I mean, my son, when he was in kindergarten, I came to help at the computer lab at his school, and was like, okay, Mom, you can come and help, but don't look at me, don't talk to me, don't even think about me when you're there. And he was 5. I like to see women, young women who have something for themselves besides being a mom, because that's something that is a life experience that you cannot do again. But so many people, their last one goes off to college and they're like, well, now what do I do? And they don't have anything for themselves, and you do. So I love that.
Yeah, that's been really important, having a different outlet that isn't just the kids and cleaning the house and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. And again, Kristen's link is under the video if you want to check out her store. Post your questions, and she's on my YouTube channel sometimes, so she can answer if you have questions there. And just get busy selling. Get those death piles listed because fourth quarter's coming. Thanks so much.
Thank you.